Okay, in today's lesson, what we're going to look at is solutions and how we can talk about how much of a chemical is in a solution in terms of moles. So whenever we make a solution, we weigh out a chemical and we dissolve it up into a solution. And we can talk about how much of a chemical is in the solution using moles. So whenever we make a solution, we measure a mass of chemical and we dissolve it in a volume of solvent. And what we end up with is a solution of a specific concentration. And concentration is what we're going to be focusing on in this lesson. Now, concentration in chemistry has units of moles per litre, which you might sometimes see as mole litre to the minus 1. So that means that we've got a number of moles dissolved in how many litres. Now, what's really important before we do anything is that you're often told 1 litre is 1,000 centimetres cubed or 1,000 millilitres. In chemistry, you're usually not working with as big a volume as a litre. You're usually working with centimetres cubed. And so before you can do anything with concentration, you need to be able to turn a volume in centimetres cubed into a volume in litres in order to be able to work out a concentration in this. And the thing is, centimetres cubed, to convert it into litres, you divide, litres is centimetres cubed divided by 1,000. So for example, 10 centimetres cubed is 10 divided by 1,000 litres, which is 0.01 litres. 200 centimetres cubed is 200 divided by 1,000, which equals 0.2 litres. So this is important. We need to be able to do that. So if you're given a value in centimetres cubed, to turn it into litres, you have to divide by 1,000. Now, when it comes to concentrations and moles, we've got another triangle that we use. So this time, exactly the same as before. We've got N at the top this time. We have C here and we have V here. Now N is the same, that's number of moles. C, that's concentration. And the units are moles per litre. And we have V, which is volume, which has units in litres. So we always have to turn our units into litres. Now there are three equations that we can use. So the first equation is N equals C times V. So if you have a solution of a given concentration and you have a volume, you can work out the number of moles. We then, if we say we want to calculate concentration, it's going to be N divided by V. So C equals N over V. And 3 is if we want to do volume, cover up volume, and we've got N divided by C. This equation, the top one, is on the inside cover of your data booklet. These other ones are not. But if you can reorganize that equation, you get these two. The number of moles is concentration times volume. So, we can do a few practice questions. So, how many moles in 50 centimeters cubed of a 0.5 mole per litre solution? Now the first thing is centimeters cubed. We need to turn that into litres. So 50 centimeters cubed is 50 divided by 1,000, which equals 0.05 litres. We have our concentration. So we have got a volume, we've got a concentration, so we're going to use the top equation. N equals C times V, which is 0.5 multiplied by 0.05, which equals 0.0025. Equals 0.025 moles. Okay, so using that equation, so do that. And remember that your volume must always be in litres. However, this can be taken further because sometimes you need to know what mass of chemical is needed. Is needed to make a solution. And when this is the case, what you do first is work out moles, and for that you're going to use N equals C times V, and then turn moles into mass. And for that one, you're going to use M equals N times GFM. So, we've got a question. What mass of sodium chloride is needed to make 25 centimeters cubed of 1.0 mole per liter solution. So what mass, that's the thing we're going to be working out in the end, what mass. But the bits of information we have, we've got 25 centimeters cubed and we have got 1 mole per liter. So we have got a volume, we've got a concentration, and we're wanting to work out mass. Now volume, first thing we need to do, turn it into litres. In litres, so that is 25 divided by 1,000, which equals 0.025. Now what we can do is N equals CV, which is 1 multiplied by 0.025, which equals 0.025 moles. So we've got this number of moles, and now we're going to turn that into a mass. Now for doing that, mass equals moles multiplied by GFM. Now GFM is sodium chloride. Chlorine is 35.5, sodium is 23.0, so it gives us 58.5. So here we have 0.025 multiplied by 58.5, which equals 1.46, and that's to 2 decimal places, grams. So if you need to work out mass to make a solution, you need to work out the number of moles that are in the solution using N equals CV, and then from the number of moles you need to turn that into a mass using the gram formula mass. This question can be done another way, or the other way around. So you could be told what mass you're using and then asked to work out the concentration from that. So for example, what concentration will be made when 3.65 grams of HCl are dissolved in 500 centimeters cubed of water. So we are looking this time, we're wanting a concentration. We have been given a volume, but we've been given a mass to start with. So in this case, step 1 is turn mass into moles. So what we need is GFM and HCl. Cl is 35.5, H is 1, so that's 36.5. Now we then use the equation, I keep moving everything over to the side, N is equal to M divided by GFM, which is 3.65 divided by 36.5, which equals 0.1 moles. So now we've got a number of moles and we have a volume. So the second step is work out concentration. So for this, first thing we need to do is volume, turn it into litres. So that is 500 divided by 1,000, which equals 0.5 litres. And we know that N is equal to 0.1 moles. The equation is N equals CV. We want C, so that is going to be N divided by V. So we're going to have 0.1 divided by 0.5. 0.1 divided by 0.5 equals 0.2, and the units of concentration are moles per litre. So if this question, if you're given a mass and a volume and you have to work out concentration, first thing, turn the mass into moles using N equals M over GFM. And now you've got moles and you've got volume, which you turn into litres. You can use concentration equals moles divided by volume to work out your answer. So that was an introduction to moles in solution. The first thing is that we know when we're talking about solutions, we're talking about concentration. Units are moles per litre, and so that means any volume that we work with, we need to turn into litres. And to turn centimetres cubed into litres, you divide by 1,000. We then saw that there's a triangle relating moles, concentration and volume. And the main equation is that the number of moles is equal to concentration times volume. But remember again, volume must always be in litres. So N equals CV. We then looked at two types of question. We looked at what happens if you need to know how much, what mass of chemical is needed to make a solution. The first thing to do that is you need to work out the number of moles using N equals CV. And then once you've got that number of moles, you use mass equals N times GFM to work out the mass of chemical needed. On the flip side of that is what happens if you're given a mass and you need to work out the concentration. Well, in this case, what you do is you take your mass, you turn it into moles using N equals M divided by GFM. And then that number of moles divided by the volume gives you the concentration. Remember that the volume again needs to be turned into litres, so divide by 1,000. That was your introduction to moles and solutions, so thank you again for your attention.